The discovery. Dr. Elena Reyes squinted at the holographic display, her eyes burning from 20 hours of continuous analysis. The ancient DNA samples recovered from the Siberian burial chamber showed patterns she'd never encountered in 15 years of genetic research. "That can't be right," she muttered, running the sequence analysis for the 5th time. The results remained unchanged. The molecular structure contained quantum-stable codons that defied everything known about biological systems. According to current scientific understanding, living tissue couldn't maintain quantum coherence at room temperature for more than microseconds. Yet these 30,000-year-old samples showed signs of having done exactly that. The lab door slid open with a soft hiss. Professor Zhang, her mentor and the expedition lead, entered carrying 2 steaming cups. "You look like you need this more than I do," he said, placing a cup next to her workstation. The rich aroma of genuine coffee, not the synthesized stuff, filled the air. "Thanks," Elena said, barely looking up from the display. "Liang, I'm seeing something impossible here." Zhang sipped his coffee. "In my experience, impossible usually means we don't understand yet." Elena manipulated the holographic model, highlighting the anomalous sequence. These genetic markers, they're maintaining quantum states that should collapse instantly in organic matter. It's like finding birds with built-in anti-gravity technology. Zhang's expression remained neutral, but Elena caught a flicker of something in his eyes. Recognition. Concern. "Interesting," he said carefully. "Have you shared this with anyone else?" "Not yet. I wanted to be certain before." A notification chimed. The lab's security system announced visitors. 3 people Elena had never seen before stood at the entrance. A tall woman with unnaturally perfect posture led the group. "Dr. Reyes, I'm Dr. Amara Singh from the International Genetics Consortium. We're here to review your preliminary findings from the Siberian expedition." Elena frowned. "I wasn't informed of any review." Professor Zhang stepped forward, his manner suddenly formal. "Ah, Dr. Singh. Your timing is impressive as always. We were just discussing an anomaly in the samples." Elena shot him a confused look. He'd never mentioned knowing Dr. Singh before. "May I see your credentials?" Elena asked. The woman smiled. Something about that smile made Elena's skin crawl. Too precise, too practiced. The Quantum Inheritance. Part 1. The Discovery. Dr. Elena Reyes squinted at the holographic display, her eyes burning from 20 hours of continuous analysis. The ancient DNA samples recovered from the Siberian burial chamber showed patterns she never encountered in 15 years of genetic research. "That can't be right," she muttered, running the sequence analysis for the 5th time. The results remained unchanged. The molecular structure contained quantum-stable codons that defied everything known about biological systems. According to current scientific understanding, living tissue couldn't maintain quantum coherence at room temperature for more than microseconds. Yet these 30,000-year-old samples showed signs of having done exactly that. The lab door slid open with a soft hiss. Professor Zhang, her mentor and the expedition lead, entered carrying 2 steaming cups. "You look like you need this more than I do," he said, placing a cup next to her workstation. The rich aroma of genuine coffee, not the synthesized stuff, filled the air. "Thanks," Elena said, barely looking up from the display. "Liang, I'm seeing something impossible here." Zhang sipped his coffee. "In my experience, impossible usually means we don't understand yet." Elena manipulated the holographic model, highlighting the anomalous sequence. These genetic markers, they're maintaining quantum states that should collapse instantly in organic matter. It's like finding birds with built-in anti-gravity technology. Zhang's expression remained neutral, but Elena caught a flicker of something in his eyes. Recognition. Concern. "Interesting," he said carefully. "Have you shared this with anyone else?" "Not yet. I wanted to be certain before." A notification chimed. The lab's security system announced visitors. 3 people Elena had never seen before stood at the entrance. A tall woman with unnaturally perfect posture led the group. Dr. Reyes, I'm Dr. Amara Singh from the International Genetics Consortium. We're here to review your preliminary findings from the Siberian expedition. Elena frowned. I wasn't informed of any review. Professor Zhang stepped forward, his manner suddenly formal. Ah, Dr. Singh, your timing is impressive as always. We were just discussing an anomaly in the samples. Elena shot him a confused look. He'd never mentioned knowing Dr. Singh before. May I see your credentials? Elena asked. The woman smiled. Something about that smile made Elena's skin crawl. Too precise, too practiced. Of course, Singh said, extending a thin tablet. As Elena reached for it, Zhang's coffee cup slipped from his hand, shattering on the floor. Hot liquid splashed Singh's pristine white shoes. My deepest apologies, Zhang said, rushing to clean the mess. In the brief commotion, he brushed against Elena's arm. She felt something small slip into her lab coat pocket. The review lasted 3 uncomfortable hours. The visitors asked detailed questions about the excavation site, preservation methods, and genetic markers. But strangely, they showed little interest in Elena's impossible discovery. After they left, Elena reached into her pocket and found a small data chip. She glanced at Zhang, who gave an almost imperceptible nod. That night in her apartment, Elena inserted the chip into her personal terminal. A message appeared. The lab is compromised. Trust no one. Delete all your personal research files. Meet me at the old observatory at midnight. Bring only what you can carry in one bag. Elena stared at the message. This had to be some kind of joke. But the Zhang she'd worked with for 5 years had never been the pranking type. She packed a small bag, clothes, personal items, and her mother's locket, then hesitated before the terminal. 5 years of research, but something in Zhang's eyes had frightened her. She initiated the secure deletion protocol. The observatory had been abandoned for decades, its massive telescope rendered obsolete by orbital arrays. Elena found Zhang waiting in the shadow of the main dome. Were you followed? He asked without greeting. I don't think so. Liang, what's happening? Those weren't IGC representatives today. They belong to something called the Galactic Cooperation Initiative. They're not human, Elena. She stared at him, waiting for the punchline. Not human. What does that even mean? It means exactly what it sounds like. Humanity isn't alone, and hasn't been for a very long time. Before Elena could respond, headlights swept across the observatory grounds. They found us sooner than I expected, Zhang said. This way. He led her through a maintenance door and down a narrow stairwell that shouldn't have existed according to the observatory plans. I've maintained this place for 30 years, Zhang explained as they descended. Just in case. The stairwell ended at a massive door that looked like it belonged in a submarine. Zhang pressed his palm against it, and it swung open silently. Beyond lay a small hangar containing what could only be described as a spacecraft. Sleek, silver, with no visible engines or windows. Is that? Yes. And we need to leave immediately. Leave? Leave where? Earth. Alarms blared above them. The hangar door began to close automatically. Elena, we have seconds to decide. Those people upstairs, they'd want what you've discovered. They've been searching for it for centuries. What did I discover? Elena asked, her world unraveling. The key to human ascendancy among the stars. The reason our species was nearly exterminated 500 years ago. A crash echoed from the stairwell. Something was breaking through. I need you to trust me, Zhang said. Elena looked at her mentor, the man who had guided her career, who had become like a father after her parents died. Then she looked at the impossible ship. Okay, let's go. Inside, the ship was larger than it appeared from outside. The control panels activated at Zhang's touch, displays appearing in midair. Strap in, he said as Elena sank into a conforming seat. The hangar roof slid open, revealing the star-filled sky. The ship rose silently, accelerating with such speed that the observatory shrank to a pinpoint in seconds. Yet Alina felt no G-forces, no pressure. Liang, Professor Zheng, who are you really? He kept his eyes on the controls. I am who I've always been. Your mentor, your friend, a scientist, and a guardian of human history. The ship burst through Earth's atmosphere. Below them, the blue planet glowed like a jewel. Those beings who visited the lab, they aren't the only ones. There are at least 5 major non-human civilizations with interests in Earth. They've been watching us for millennia, studying us. Alina struggled to process this. Why? What do they want? You're about to see. Zhang activated a view screen. This is what Earth's orbit actually looks like. The display showed dozens of massive ships positioned around Earth. Ships that, according to everything Alina knew, couldn't possibly exist without humanity knowing. They're cloaked from Earth's detection systems, Zhang explained. We've been under quarantine for 5 centuries. Quarantine. Like we're a disease. Like we're a threat. Zhang's expression softened. What you discovered in that ancient DNA is what they fear most. Humans have a unique genetic trait that no other species in the known galaxy possesses. We naturally maintain quantum coherence in our cellular structure. But what does that mean practically? It means humans can interface directly with quantum technology in ways other species can't. They require massive machines to accomplish what we can do with our bare hands. When humanity first developed basic quantum tech 5 centuries ago, the galactic community panicked. Alarms flashed across the control panel. 3 ships had broken from Earth's orbit and were pursuing them. Those people at the lab, did they take samples? Zhang asked urgently. Yes, some of the original tissue. Then we don't have much time. The ancient samples you found are from before the purge, pure, untampered human DNA. Most modern humans have had their quantum capabilities suppressed through genetic engineering, disguised as vaccines centuries ago. Alina felt dizzy. This is insane. Yet here we are, fleeing Earth in a quantum-drive spacecraft while being pursued by alien ships. A beam of energy lanced past them, missing by meters. Hold on, Zhang said, his hands dancing across the controls. The stars around them blurred, and Alina felt a strange sensation, as if her very atoms were being pulled in every direction simultaneously. Then suddenly, Earth and its pursuers vanished. What just happened? Alina gasped. Quantum jump. We've traveled approximately 12 light-years in under a second. Alina struggled to maintain her composure. Where are we going? To the only place humans still exist as they were meant to be. A colony that escaped the purge 500 years ago. Zhang reached into his pocket and withdrew a small container. Inside was a single vial containing what looked like ordinary blood. This is from the same burial site as your samples. I've been keeping it separate. He placed it in Alina's hand. The future of humanity might depend on what you discover about this sample. The ship's systems chimed, indicating they were approaching their destination. We'll arrive in approximately 6 hours, Zhang said. You should rest. Rest? After everything you've just told me. Zhang smiled sadly. You'll need your strength. The hardest part of your journey is just beginning. As Alina tried to process everything, a distant part of her mind kept returning to the genetic sequence she discovered, the impossible pattern that apparently made humans unique in the galaxy, the pattern that made them dangerous enough to quarantine an entire planet. She closed her eyes, clutching the sample vial. Whatever secret it contained, she was now its guardian, whether she wanted to be or not. The revelation. Alina woke with a start as the ship's proximity alert chimed. Outside the viewport, stars shifted as they decelerated from quantum travel. We're approaching Sanctuary, Zhang said from the pilot's seat. Look. Ahead of them, seemingly empty space shimmered like heat rising from pavement. As they drew closer, The distortion resolved into a modestly sized planet with swirling blue oceans and green landmasses. Atmospheric cloaking, Zhang explained. The most advanced in the galaxy. It makes the entire planet invisible to standard scanning technology. How many people live here? Elena asked. About 3 million, all descendants of the original 17,000 who escaped Earth during the Purge. The ship descended through wisps of cloud toward a sprawling city nestled between mountains and sea. Unlike Earth's angular skyscrapers, these structures curved organically, seeming to grow from the landscape rather than impose upon it. They landed on a platform extending from a crystalline tower. A small delegation waited to greet them, men and women in simple gray clothing. At their center stood an elderly woman with striking blue eyes and silver hair bound in an intricate braid. "Professor Zhang," she said, embracing him like a long-lost relative. "We feared you wouldn't return from this mission." The situation deteriorated faster than anticipated, Director Hayes, Zhang replied. "This is Dr. Elena Reyes, the geneticist I mentioned in my communications." Hayes studied Elena with penetrating eyes. "You've made a remarkable discovery, Dr. Reyes, though you don't yet understand its implications." "That seems to be a common theme lately," Elena said. Hayes smiled warmly. "Come, you've traveled far, and we have much to discuss." They were led to a spacious chamber with a circular table. Through panoramic windows, Elena could see the alien yet familiar city stretching toward distant mountains. Sanctuary was established 512 years ago, Hayes explained as they were served a meal of unfamiliar fruits and what appeared to be fish. "When the galactic powers discovered humanity's quantum abilities, they gave our leaders an ultimatum. Submit to genetic modification that would remove this capability or face extinction. Most of Earth's governments capitulated," Zhang added. "The modifications were disguised as vaccines against a manufactured pandemic. Within one generation, 99% of humans lost their natural quantum abilities." Elena set down her fork. "But some resisted." Hayes nodded. 17 ships escaped the quarantine, carrying unmodified humans and genetic samples from thousands more. Only 11 ships reached potential colony sites. Only 3 colonies survived long-term. Sanctuary is the largest, and no one on Earth knows this history. "It was systematically erased," Hayes said. "Records destroyed, dissenters eliminated. Earth's history was rewritten." A young woman entered the chamber and whispered something to Hayes, whose expression darkened. "3 ships have entered the outer system," Hayes announced. "Terraised Collective, Meridian Alliance, and Vega Imperium vessels. They followed us." Elena asked, alarmed. "Not directly," Zhang said. "They likely traced the quantum signature of the ancient DNA samples." Hayes stood. "Dr. Reyes, I need to show you something before they arrive." They descended deep beneath the city into what appeared to be a research facility. In a circular chamber, scientists worked around a glowing central pillar. "This is the heart of Sanctuary," Hayes said. "A pure quantum processor. On other worlds, such devices require massive facilities and energy inputs. Here, we operated with this." She gestured to a simple chair beside the pillar where a young man sat with his eyes closed, one hand resting on the pillar's surface. "Human touch," Hayes explained. "Our DNA allows us to interface directly with quantum systems, stabilizing them in ways no machine can. This is why the galactic powers fear us. Their technological supremacy relies on resource-intensive quantum computing. We can achieve the same results with a fraction of the infrastructure." "The samples you discovered," Zhang added, "are from humans who lived before even minor environmental contamination affected our quantum abilities. They represent the purest expression of our genetic potential." Elena removed the vial Zhang had given her. "And this belongs to someone special," Hayes said. "We believe it's from one of the original quantum architects, humans who developed the first direct neural interfaces with quantum systems." Alarms echoed through the facility. A technician approached Hayes. "Director, the 3 ships are demanding we surrender Dr. Rice and the ancient DNA samples. They've deployed atmospheric penetration craft. Hayes turned to Elena. The largest galactic powers have pursued this genetic secret for centuries. They'll destroy this planet to prevent us from fully reclaiming our abilities. Then why not give them what they want? Elena asked. My research. Because it's not just research they want, Zhang said quietly. They want confirmation that these abilities can be extracted and replicated. Once they have that, humanity becomes expendable again, or worse, raw material for their experiments. Elena looked at the quantum processor, the young operator, the fear and determination on the faces around her. These people had preserved something precious against overwhelming odds. What if there's another option? She said slowly. Not surrender, not war, but collaboration. Hayes raised an eyebrow. The galactic powers have never shown interest in true collaboration with humans. Because they've only seen us as a threat, Elena insisted. What if we could demonstrate value beyond threat? 3 hours later, Elena stood in a neutral meeting facility hastily constructed on Sanctuary's moon. Across from her sat representatives of 3 galactic powers, the insectoid ambassador Exizik of the Terraced Collective, the crystalline Director Luminov of the Meridian Alliance, and the humanoid but decidedly non-human General Voss of the Vega Imperium. Dr. Reyes, General Voss began, you possess biological material that violates the Treaty of Sol. Surrender it immediately. Elena kept her expression neutral. The treaty was signed under coercion, by parties unaware of what they were truly surrendering. Irrelevant. Ambassador Exizik clicked through translator implants. Human quantum abilities present an unacceptable security risk to galactic stability. Only if you insist on seeing them as weapons, Elena countered. I propose an alternative perspective. She activated a holographic display showing her research findings. What I've discovered isn't just about quantum coherence in human DNA. It's about symbiotic potential. Elena nodded to an assistant who brought forward 3 sealed containers. These contain quantum processing nodes developed here on Sanctuary, she explained. Each is calibrated to your species' specific biological signatures. The representatives exchanged suspicious glances. Observe, Elena said. On the display, she demonstrated how human quantum abilities could enhance alien technology without controlling it, amplifying processing power while remaining within safeguards specific to each species. Humanity doesn't want dominance, Elena said. We want partnership. These processors will work at 300% efficiency when paired with your existing systems, but only under cooperative protocols. They cannot be weaponized against their partners. Director Luminov's crystalline form shimmered. Their equivalent of skepticism. What do humans want in return? Recognition. The end of Earth's quarantine. The truth about our history, and the right to restore what was taken from us. Impossible, General Voss declared. If all humans regained these abilities. Not all at once, Elena interrupted. A carefully managed transition over generations, with full transparency and joint oversight. The galaxy fears what we might become in isolation. So don't isolate us. Ambassador Exizik's compound eyes studied Elena. Your proposal requires unprecedented trust. Yes, Elena agreed. Just as we must trust that you won't obliterate this planet the moment this meeting ends. Relationships begin with risk. She placed the vial of ancient DNA on the table. This is what you came for. You could take it by force, study it in secret, but you'd never unlock its full potential without our cooperation. Just as we need your knowledge to fully understand ourselves. The representatives conferred privately in a language Elena couldn't understand. Finally, General Voss spoke. We will bring your proposal to our respective governments. Until then, a temporary non-aggression pact. It wasn't victory, but it was a beginning. 3 months later, Elena stood on a balcony overlooking Sanctuary's capital. Zhang joined her, watching the sunset. The Meridian Alliance accepted our proposal this morning, he said. That's 2 out of 3. Elena nodded. The Terrazed Collective had agreed weeks earlier. Only the Vega Imperium remained undecided. "Do you think Earth is ready for the truth?" she asked. "No," John replied honestly, "but they deserve it nonetheless." Elena thought about the billions of humans living under quarantine, unaware of their stolen heritage, and the millions living in secret, preserving what had nearly been destroyed. "I've been studying the ancient architects' DNA," she said. "There's something we missed initially. Markers that suggest their abilities went beyond mere interface capabilities." "In what way?" "I think they could perceive quantum probability itself, see multiple timelines simultaneously, maybe even influence which ones manifested." Zhang's eyes widened. If that's true, it would explain everything. Why humanity was so thoroughly suppressed, why these samples were buried so carefully, why 3 major powers would risk war to obtain them. Below them, the city's quantum network illuminated as night fell, lines of soft blue light connecting buildings in a web of shared consciousness. A system that operated without central control, powered by the unique abilities of human minds working in harmony. "Whatever happens with the Vega Imperium, there's no going back," Zhang said. "The truth has emerged. The suppression is ending." Elena thought of the ancient humans whose DNA had preserved this secret through millennia. Had they somehow known their genetic code would eventually be rediscovered? Had they, with their quantum perception, glimpsed this future and prepared for it? "There's something poetic about it," she said. "Our ancestors hid the key to humanity's future in our most fundamental building blocks, in patterns so basic we overlooked them for centuries." As the last light faded from the sky, a notification chimed on Zhang's communicator. His face broke into a rare smile. "The Vega Imperium has agreed to negotiations." Elena looked up at the emerging stars, no longer distant and unreachable, but future destinations, future homes. The inheritance preserved in human DNA wasn't just quantum abilities, but the promise of a place among those stars. "Then we have work to do," she said, turning toward the future.